So routing time now, this will be the time when it's transitions between low and high in our test for the dB. And I'm going to want to also determine whether this is a 1 or a 0. And I'm going to open and close different outlets on a gate according to that. The first thing I'll do, new object, +1 on this, so that 1 will be when it goes, when the dB goes low, and 2 when the dB goes high. And I'm going to make a new object with gate 2, so that this will control where my time value goes. So, like I say, when the amplitude goes low, the time value will go out here, and when the amplitude goes, with the decibel test thing goes high, then the time value will come out here. Next thing we're going to do is pack those into a list. We're actually going to want to make a list of 3 values. The first value being the what? The first value being the let me see, I'm going to try and not draw a blank here. Alright, so the first value is going to want to be an index value, because we're going to use this object called col. Maybe I'll make one of those right now. New object, col. And col stores things at indexes. And so our first thing we're going to want to store is an index value, which is kind of arbitrary, I suppose. We'll make a new object with a trigger bang to create that index, and we want to create the index when the amplitude goes low. Believe it or not, we want to store the the end of a sample, if you like, when it goes low. So actually, let's make a new object here with our pack. We'll need to pack 3 values: the index, the start value for our amplitude action, and the end value. So just to make that maybe clearer, this would be the start point when the test of our average goes high, and then we're going to store the low value when it goes, when it goes low. We're going to make that the end. And we need to put an index in here. I'm kind of running out of room. Let me see what I can do to create more real estate here. Oh yeah, why not? Looks good. Alright, this will want to have a counter in here then for our index. So a counter, 0, starting at 0 and going to some arbitrarily stupid large number. It doesn't matter what that stupidly large number is. And we're banging the counter to create this index value. And we're going to store those in the col. That should be perfect. Well, we can have a look at what's happening here now. If we turn on our DAC and wait the 2 hours for this chick to actually start talking again any moment now. Yes, I'm sure. Hello? Anyway, when she finally does start talking, we'll see this value changing, and we should actually now start to see stuff being packed into our col.
If our patch starts to get messy, it's easy to clean it up. We can highlight a group of objects and align them.
Start times when the
if we like orderly connections, we can use segment and patch cords.
End times when the amplitude went low.
As you can see now, we're generating a random number.
Okay.
What we're going to do with this random
list
number
gets pretty big,
is send it into the
fast.
iMovie object.
Alright.
The iMovie object will interpret the random number as a point in time.
Amplitude down. A couple things we might want to do before we actually look at what's happening here. Well, actually, let's just try this. Let's just make it so we're going to set up a couple of parameters before we record these values. I'm going to make a message clear with a L instead of a K. Clear to my col, so it'll clear out the contents of that. And I'm going to want a message that says time 0 for the movie, so we actually start at the start. The only way I know of to get the movie to start at the start is to give it the message time 0. And we want to set our counter to 0 as well, I think. So new message with an M, set 0 set on a counter sets the value to 0, the counter to 0 without stopping it. We might do this all based on when we click the toggle. So we'll make a new object and select 1, so that when the toggle is selected, then we bang that, and we also bang this clear message. Alright, so that's all very good. So we should now be able to start at the start of the movie and start collecting those start-end points for amplitudes as soon as we select the toggle. Let's give it a shot. Why not? Well, I'll listen to it at the same time.
Pasting it over and over. MaxMSP is a graphical environment for music, audio, and multimedia developed by Cycling 74.
Interesting. Okay, here's my
The main document type that we work with in Max is called a patcher. When we create a new patcher, we get a large empty window, which we then populate with objects that we connect together to make larger programs. We select these objects from a palette that will show us their names when we move our mouse over them.
Okay.
Let's create a button.
Oh,
we can
that's about enough
objects.
of that. Alright,
we can move them around
so
on the
here's
screen.
my coal full of these amplitude values. I'm going to turn that down again. And what I'm going to do is use the, I guess I'll just randomly pull things out of this coal here. When you give a coal a single number, it outputs the list that's stored at that value, at that index. So I can see if I give it random values between 0 and 86, let's say, we will be able to retrieve these things out of here. So I'm going to make a new object, a random, what did I say? Man, I've got a very short-term memory here. Very short memory, 86. So yeah, a random 86 or 87, I guess, to be absolutely correct. I'll make a new button here. I'm just going to do this manually. I'm sure there's all sorts of ways to, automate this thing to make it fun. I'm going to bang those random values out of my coal. I'm going to make a new object, and I'm going to prepend and use these values as loop points in my qt.movie playback. They're going to come out here. There'll be a value of set of two values come out here and go. I'll weave these all the way back up to my jit.qt.movie. What else do I want? Maybe I want a new toggle, because this toggle doesn't necessarily it doesn't want to clear the coal. That would be a good idea not to clear that coal now that we've stored all those juicy values in there. And I can click here to start my movie again and get these random loop points.
The main document over is their names.
Alright, that's about enough of that. This is kind of a generic process that I use to test for amplitude changes. You can use this with a SF play, get times from your SF play. I think that's out of the right outlet, isn't it? You can also use that with a play object. All sorts of fun to be had with this kind of generic process. This was the Baz Tutorial 17, and I'll catch you in the 18th